Family cars come in all shapes and sizes these days, but it's no wonder that so many families end up with big SUVs. With lots of space inside, a high driving position, and the versatility of 7 seats and 4-wheel drive, they're proper do-it-alls that may well tempt you.
But which should you choose between the all-new Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace or the Skoda Kodiaq, which is essentially the same car underneath the skin? Or how about the Kia Sorento? Yesterday we were looking for space, style, or for a reasonable price.
To help you decide, I'm going to compare their designs.
This thing just looks like a big, proper, tough, no-nonsense SUV. I mean, look at it.
See what they're like to drive.
It's manoeuvrable, it's nippy, it goes around corners well.
And find out how practical they are.
More than adequate for children, and probably okay for giants, actually.
But first of all, let's look at how much they cost.
The 7-seater version of the Skoda Kodiaq starts from £25,000. For that, you'll get a front-wheel drive version with a 1.4 litre petrol engine. However, you can save an average of £4,000 one through CarWow. Next, we come to the Kia Sorento. So, as standard, that comes with a 2.2 litre diesel engine and all-wheel drive, and it starts from just over £29,000. So you can save an average of £4,500 off one at CarWow. And finally, we're going to come to the VW Tiguan Allspace. So that starts from £29,000 again, pretty similar to the Kia Sorento. And the average saving on that through CarWow is just over £3,500. Now, the entry-level car has a 1.4 litre petrol engine and is front-wheel drive. Now, you can see it's very important to spec up your car at carwow.com and see what offers you can get back so you can make the right choice on the right price for the car for you.
And when you're trying to decide which is the right car for you, there's no better place to start than the way it looks.
The Kodiaq is classic Skoda design in the way that it's not particularly exciting, but then it's not offensive either. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, that's a 7-seater SUV. It looks kind of small, but that's the camera perspective. Look. It's big now. That was a weird run, very weird run. And we can't edit it out. And you can't unsee it either.
You can't avoid seeing the Kia Sorento either.
This thing just looks like a big, proper, tough, no-nonsense SUV. I mean, look at it. It's sturdy, and down here it points out that it's all-wheel drive because there's no namby-pamby front-wheel drive versions like you get with the European cars. Oh yeah.
The Tiguan is a perfect example of those European cars.
How good this car looks is very dependent on its equipment level. You get this entry-level car with its boring halogen headlamps and 18-inch alloy wheels, and it's just a bit so what. However, the R-Line version with its body kit, its upgraded headlamps and its 20-inch rims, it looks really cool.
You can decide which you think is the coolest looking of these three cars, but there's no doubt that they're all very different to each other. It's the same story inside as well, but not in the way you might expect.
It feels a little bit odd to me that while Skoda is supposed to be the cheaper cousin to Volkswagen, here on the inside, the Kodiaq actually feels a bit more expensive than the Tiguan. Now, the reason for that is that you've got soft touch materials on the dash, like in the Tiguan, but down here on the Tiguan, it's hard plastic, whereas it's soft still here on the Kodiaq. And this big panel here on the dash, it's clever. It just makes the car seem a little bit brighter and a little bit more at market, even though it's not particularly expensive. That panel I don't imagine to actually build. I think they're doing a good job with it. It's sensible, it's easy, it's nice, it's comfortable. Yeah. I think it's better inside than the Tiguan.
But is it any better than the Kia?
Inside, the Sorento has a big, sturdy, solid feel to it. So the materials are thick and plush. They're soft down here even. And the ones in the centre console, they're nice and solid. Looks smart as well. The design is pretty cool. I like the way you've got this stitching effect in the dash. It looks like it's topped with leather, even though it's not. Obviously the steering wheel is, and it feels quite expensive. I also like the way that the central speedo is digital, and it has the various information which can be displayed in there. All in all, I'm rather impressed.
And there are plenty of things that are impressive about the Tiguan too.
Volkswagen is famous for its cars having high quality interiors, and some of the things that you touch here in the Tiguan do feel expensive, like the steering wheel. The leather on it's just lovely. Also, you've got plush, soft materials on the dash, but lower down the cabin, it's all a bit cheap and scratchy. Then there's the design. Now, it looks smart, but while everything is very well laid out and just simple to use, it's all a little bit drab. Now, you can liven things up a little bit by getting the digital driver's display. This car doesn't have it though.
That is a shame, but there are more important things to worry about in big cars like this, like how much room they have inside for your family.
only a giant could complain about the amount of space you've got in the middle row of the Skoda Kodiaq, and you've got the usual features of sliding the seat and reclining it, and yeah, 5 for adults, more than adequate for children, and probably okay for giants actually.
The Kia looks like it would be pretty good for giants too, but there is one problem.
It feels pretty blooming big here in the back of the Sorento. Now, my only gripe is the fact that if you have this panoramic glass roof, there is a chance that people much over 6 foot might find it a bit tight for headspace, but everyone else is going to think it's huge, loads of knee room. And check this out, right, I can slide the seats forward and backwards and recline them quite some way. Yes, that is pretty reclined. Super comfy.
And you'll have a big smile on your face if you're in the back of the Volkswagen as well.
Here in the middle row of the Tiguan Allspace, yeah, loads of room as you can see, lots of headroom, lots of leg room. I can really stretch out. You can slide the chairs forwards and backwards, and you can recline them for even more comfort. I also like this feature as well. The picnic tables you can get with the car are on a ratchet, so they're very sturdy, and they even have a little drinks holder there as well.
All in all, if you're going to carry no more than 5 people in your car, there's not much to choose from between these 3. All of them will take a couple of adults in the rear in complete comfort. And if you want to fit 3 across the rear seat, that's no problem either. The centre passenger will be a little more cramped than the other 2 either side, but that's with adults. Kids will be more than happy in any of these 3 cars. It's the same story if you need to take much younger children. The big rear doors make it easy to get a child seat inside, and you'll have no issues securing it to the Isofix mount. Of course though, the real attraction of these cars over a regular SUV is that they have 7 seats. So, which is the best if you need to use all 3 rows? First of all, I'm going to try the Skoda.
Now, you'd think this car would be exactly the same in the back as the Tiguan, but there is noticeably more room. So headroom is better for a start. I'm just about okay. Legroom's still really tight, but if you slide the seat forward, you can have enough knee room for an adult back here, with still enough room for the person in front. Not quite as good as with the Kia Sorento, but better than the Tiguan for sure.
So, just what is it that makes the Sorento such a good 7-seater?
It's surprisingly spacious here in the back of this Kia. So yeah, headroom is tight, but if I slouch, I can get away with it. What's really impressive though is the fact that this seat is slid all the way back, and yet I've still got enough knee room. There is one thing that annoys me though, and it's the fact that if you want to get in and out, you have to do it from this side, because this left-hand side middle seat is the only one that has the catch and the slider to allow you to move the seat from the back.
However, that's only a minor irritation compared to the pain that the Volkswagen will inflict on your passengers.
If you'd like to talk to your friends, then you can make them sit in the back of the Tiguan Allspace, because really it is only for small children back here. And I'm going to illustrate that now by pulling the seat back with my knee out like this. I'm probably going to break myself. I'm trapped now for good.
Don't worry, I did live to tell the tale. And the tale is that the Tiguan Allspace is the worst of these 3 as a 7-seater. But the one that's best of all for carrying 7 people is the Sorento. However, which car has the biggest boot? Let's start by looking at the Skoda.
Things to note in the boot is there's a nice flat floor, storage under there for the parcel shelf like in the other cars. And how easy is it to fold down the seats? Well, it's this easy. Oh no, look! You can tell it's Volkswagen Group, it doesn't go all the way down. Same as the Tiguan. Same as the Tiguan then. I think I just did my neck in.
It's certainly not such a pain in the Kia.
This is a nice, easy to use boot. There's no load lip. You've got some extra storage under here. The load cover can be stored under there as well. And I can fold the seats down this quickly. It's so easy. And oh yeah, look at that. They all go down. So simple and quick.
Sadly, it's not as easy to make the most of the Tiguan's boot space.
There are a couple of things that annoy me about this car's boot. For instance, those seats, if I fold them down, they do go down just about. These ones, which I unlatch here, require you to then get inside to push them flat, which is annoying. I also don't know why you've got this hump here for the boot floor, though at least underneath it you can stow the load cover. That didn't fit properly.
As you've probably worked out already, the Sorento has the best boot. The irony is that it's actually the smallest, particularly if you have all 7 seats in use. With 5 seats upright, there's not much to choose between the 3. Drop all the rear seats down, and any one of the 3 will take a bike without having to remove a wheel. But, for the record, it's the Skoda that does the best impression of a van, with over 2,000 litres of space at your disposal. Mind you, the last thing you want is a car that drives like a van. So, which of these 3 is the easiest and most pleasant on the road?
I've already said many times in this video that the Kodiaq is the same underneath the skin pretty much as the Tiguan, and as a result it feels very similar to drive. Now if you just go for the basic model, I think the Kodiaq, the suspension feels a bit firmer, so it doesn't go over bumps quite as well as the Tiguan, and it's not quite as quiet either. However, this particular car is fitted with the optional adaptive suspension, and that has a comfort mode. So when I do that, it slackens off the suspension, and then this Kodiaq becomes a bit more comfortable over bumps than the Tiguan without it. And I think it's an upgrade worth having if you want to maximise your comfort in this car. The rest of the experience though, yeah, it grips the road pretty well. It's got the same 2-litre 150 horsepower diesel engine as in the Tiguan. Feels the same. In terms of economy, whereas in the Tiguan, that did 49. Who knows why?
My brain is working overtime trying to solve that conundrum. But if I want to calm down again, there's no better place to be than in the Kia.
The first thing you notice about this Sorento is that it majors on comfort. It really just glides over the bumps very well. And it's just a relaxing car to be in. The seats are nice and comfy. It all feels very solid and sturdy and SUV-like. It feels like a tough car. Perhaps a little bit of a letdown is the engine. It's a little bit rough feeling when you rev it, and economy isn't all that good either, so I'm getting 33 miles per gallon. It's the only downside though, because otherwise this is a really nice car to just cruise around in. Just don't get too carried away in the corners because it will roll about a bit when you go through a turn. But hey.
Ultimately though, you never forget that you're driving a big car when you're in the Sorento. But that's certainly not the case in the Volkswagen.
This Tiguan Allspace, I mean, you wouldn't know that you've actually got space for 7 people in this car because it just feels like a normal car, one that you just sit slightly higher in to drive. It's manoeuvrable, it's nippy, it goes around corners well, it deals with bumps pretty well too. Though really, if you wanted to deal with bumps even better, you can get the adaptive suspension, which has a comfort mode and then it really smooths out the road. Yeah, it's really impressive. Engine's good as well. So this 2-litre diesel was supposed to do 49 miles per gallon and I'm getting 49 miles per gallon. All in all, it's just a very complete, good all-round car to drive. That's it, really.
But which is the best all-rounder of these three when you take everything into account?
Well, the Kia Sorento is a really good car. It's spacious inside, it's well equipped. It does feel like a more old school heavy SUV to drive. So if you wanted something that's more car-like, then you might want to consider the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace. Though there's no point having one of those when you could just have a Skoda Kodiaq, which is effectively the same car underneath the skin, only it somehow feels a bit more spacious inside and it's better value for money. And that's why it wins this test. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment on it and share it. Also click on our logo to subscribe to this channel. And if you click on the bottom right hand corner, you can actually watch more of our content. Meanwhile, click over to the right to go to our deals page to see how much money you can save on a new car at CarWow.